Meet the Expert, a knowledge-sharing initiative of your knowledge partner, the Developing Bangladesh. We discuss on trade, investment, commerce, education, skills, economic development, global peace and prosperity, etc. issues. If you are interested to these issues, please subscribe to the channel. Developing Bangladesh, your knowledge partner, please subscribe now.
In trade in services, GATTs. Another one is trade-related aspect of intellectual property rights. So beside these three agreements, there are many other issues WTO deals with. For example, trade in goods, trade agreement in agriculture, agreement on sanitary phytosanitary measures, trade-related and barriers, technical barriers to trade, TBT, dispute settlement, and many more. So important agreements, if you would like to discuss, then second after GATT, second agreement is coming up, agreement on agriculture. So GATT allows various restriction in agriculture trade, that is ban on import, exports, quota, imposition of quota, domestic support, and export subsidies. You know, if all country has to comply with equal level of tariff, then obviously, or if all countries become open, then the least developed countries or developing countries will lose market to the developed world. To ensure the proper protection to the LDCs, there is provision for import ban or imposition of quota on import. As well as domestic support could be provided for protection of local industries. Export subsidies are to be controlled from the developed world perspective. So during the establishment of World Trade Organization in 1995, the agreement on agriculture was concluded to bring discipline in agriculture trade by reducing restriction on market access, reducing domestic support and subsidies, reducing export subsidies. So if the developed countries provide export subsidies or agriculture subsidies, then production cost of the least developed countries will be higher than the selling price of developed countries' product. So it will create another disparity. So to get out of this, WTO agreement on trade in agriculture agreement reduce restriction as well as ensure domestic support and subsidies reduction by the developed countries and reducing export subsidies as well. But it has been allowed up to a certain level for the least developed countries to remain them competitive in the market. Then second important agreement is agreement on sanitary and phytosanitary measures. This is actually a safeguard for human health as well as safeguard for plant health, so that contaminants or diseases cannot be transferred from one place to another place. These sanitary measures means if anything is harmful for human health or animal health, so it could be prohibited. Import could be banned through sanitary measures. Similarly, if any goods is harmful or contaminants is harmful for plant health, then it could be import ban could be imposed through phytosanitary measures. So SPS agreement provides the rights for sanitary and phytosanitary measures for protecting of human and animal health as well as plant health. So it is a very good arrangement to ensure global healthy generation, because in 2020 we all observed that how coronavirus, that is COVID-19, started in China and spread out throughout the globe, and it just captured life, thousands or crores of life around the globe. If this sanitary and phytosanitary agreement could be imposed practically, and this sort of this sort of contamination could be reduced. So this is another this COVID-19 proves why SPS agreement is much important than other agreements. So it cannot be applied discriminatorily. If you ban import of any particular products with any particular contaminants, then it should be equally imposed. Cannot be aimed at creating obstacle to trade. So you cannot impose if anything is allowed by the World Health Organization, that is WHO, then any country cannot restrict a trade of that particular goods. Can be only up to the extent of necessary for legitimate purposes. So your objective must be clear why you are imposing SPS measures on particular import. So measures must be justified, scientific, principle, and evidence based. So to impose SPS measures, a country must provide its justification through scientific means and based on international standard. The third agreement under WTO is agreement on technical barrier to trade. Actually, the objective of World Trade Organization is to open up the global market, to create a level playing field, and to increase the standard of living of the people of member states. But this technical barrier to trade, this agreement is an international trade standard, technical regulations, and conformity assessment procedures are taken by this particular agreement. So what are they? Protection and safety, health and life of human and animal plants. So as we discussed that it provides protection and protection of deceptive practices and ensuring quality of products. So the objective of this agreement, technical barrier to trade, is not to provide import ban unless and until it is harmful for human, animal, or plant health. And quality of product should be ensured by any member state. So this is another objective. And the main objective of technical barrier to trade agreement is to establish a discipline for dealing with TBT issues. Because if there is no discipline, so countries will impose trade barriers, trade relevant barriers unanimously of their own. But this particular agreement ensures that yes, you are allowed to ban imports or impose custom tariff or any sort of barriers, but it has to be justified according to the global standard. So what is the structure of the World Trade Organization? You all can see in the screen that ministerial conference. All the commerce ministers of the member states meet once in a year in different places. So ministerial conferences in Geneva or any other places is the highest body for taking any decision in the World Trade Organization. So after this ministerial conference, uh, General Council, General Councils are two types, General Council meeting as dispute settlement body and General Council meeting as trade policy review body. So this two General Council is the second highest body to determine any sort of decision of the World Trade Organization. Under General Council, there are several committees. For example, committees on trade and environment, trade and development, subcommittees, least developed countries, regional trade agreements, balance of payment, restrictions, budget, finance, administration, working parties on excesses. So there are several committees. Similarly, Council for Trade in Goods Committee has committees like Committee on Market Access, Agriculture, Sanitary and Phytosanitary Measures, Technical Barriers to Trade, Subsidies and Countervailing Measures, Anti-dumping Practices, Customs Valuation, Rules of Origin, Import Licensing, Trade-related investment measures, Safeguards, Textile Monitoring Body, Working Party. So these are the several councils under the General Council. Council for Trade-related aspects of international intellectual property rights. So IPR or TRIPS Council, Council for Trade in Services. So to facilitate, monitor trade in services, Committee on Trade in Financial Services, specific committee, working parties on domestic regulation, on GATT rules. So these councils are working in the WTO. So from the council, it goes to General Council. General Council, it goes to the Ministerial Conference for approval. So organizational structure, if we just look, the Ministerial Conference is the topmost decision-making body in the World Trade Organization. Second, it is composed.
Developing Bangladesh, your knowledge partner. We take care of trade and investment, education and skills, economic diplomacy and economic development. If you would like to keep you updated on these issues, please subscribe to Developing Bangladesh. Thank you very much for watching till the last.